Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome back for another week of Spiritual Times with the beautiful Gladys Sellar. First myself, Kerry Marie. I'm giving myself my full name this week, Kerry Marie. I'm not giving you my surname.
Well, fine, whatever you want. I'm not bothered. Doesn't bother me.
How are you?
Very well. Since last week, yes, I've gotten a few things done.
Okay, that's good. So, updates. Let's give our viewers a little bit of updates with what's been going on.
Okay. Oh, that's a nice one. Right, let's update. Update on what?
Well, we had Yas.
Yes, with Jed, with the beautiful Yas.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, and still people are talking about that.
Okay.
Which is really good. And Leslie last week, oh my goodness, she took us by storm, did she know?
Right.
Her and our animals. And again, I've noticed there's still comments coming in about that, And so I'm loving that. I'm loving that. So yes, and we've got a few things coming up in the pipeline,
Yes, we do. We do. We may have someone else in the back.
Yes.
And that's going to be a really interesting one as well. Like, we're trying to get as much people on board in Spiritual Time that can give you a little bit more insight into the whole spiritual realm.
Yeah, it's not just what I do and what kind of things and that. There's lots of avenues to spirituality that a lot of people didn't realise that comes back as one.
Mm-hmm.
And we all do our own little bits. We've all got our own little niche, as I call it.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you put us all together, we're one big mess.
One big mess. We're one.
Did I say mess? I said mass.
I think you said mess. That's what I said. So charming. We're all one big mess.
That's you fool.
So you were going to say something else there. So it's like, what?
Now, would I? I don't think so. Personally, well, I've done something that I said I would never do, and I finished it earlier on today, and that's my book.
This is exciting, guys. So watch this space.
I will be watching this space because I didn't get what's happening next. There you go. Psychic doesn't care what's happening next. There you go. But it's finished.
That's good. That's awesome. That's awesome. So
it's really opened my eyes to different things and to the people that's actually in my life. It's been a journey. Okay, so it will take me 6 weeks. But I have been guided by my guides with this. Because I wouldn't do something like this on my own. So they keep showing me what I need to write, and they'll tell me score that out. You have the idea. My guys have been. I think they might go for a holiday now.
They're away celebrating. They're like, thank God that's over.
Until they decide I'm doing something else. I think I need a holiday again. But no. So it's now watch this space. I don't know what I'm going to do with it next. So I'll have to wait. They maybe come back to me tonight. They like to tell me things at bedtime, my lot. If it's anything to do with myself, my lot are very good at telling me at night time at bedtime. Dick why. Maybe it's the only time they feel that I'm actually relaxed enough to listen to them at any time. But anyway, so we'll see. Hopefully they'll get to tell me over this next few days where am I to go with this. But we'll see. But that's me. So, Kerry, what we're talking about today?
Well, I don't know. See, she's a monkey. She told me not to prepare anything for today. So you know what we're talking about today, don't you? You know damn fine.
Oh, I know damn fine. You see, since we've started doing this talks together, the spiritual time back, A lot of people, I like to do things in threes, Kerry. If I get 3 things said to me or similar, I'll take note and I'll think, okay, something's got to be done with this. Well, okay, we should have done this before now because I've had these questions before now, but of course we've had our special guests on, so I thought, well, it's now the time. I know, Kerry, I've kept something for you for a while. I've offered you for a long time.
I'm having palpitations here.
You see, the question was, where did Kerry start? How did Kerry become who she is?
Oh, okay.
What's Kerry's story? So, spiritual time today, ladies and gentlemen, and all you lovely people out there, is Kerry's going to talk. Now, that could be anything. I'm honest, I didn't care how she's going to start this off because I didn't, honest to God, she doesn't care, and she was being, the table's being turned.
I know, I'm like sitting here pooping my pants right now. It's like, what do I tell everybody? Okay, we'll go with that. That's fine.
So, the viewers are wanting to kind of a wee bit more about you. I think they've got the grasp, but you dabble. You didn't focus yourself on one thing. You like to dabble.
Mm-hmm.
I think that will be changing. But that's just me predicting. I'll predict something for you at the end of this.
Okay.
All right. But you need to tell them how it began with you.
Okay.
So let's go back in time.
Okay, let's go back in time. My God, okay. Right, so my spiritual path basically started from the minute I was born. And my earliest memory I can recall was I was out riding my bike one day and I fell off my bike because I was about 4 years old. And I fell off my bike because I heard this almighty booming voice from the heavens. And I was terrified, absolutely terrified. And I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know why this guy was talking to me. I ran inside. I told my mum. And I was scared to go outside for a wee while. And as I was basically growing up, I would see things, I would hear things. I would see a man at my grand's house and he would talk to me and then he would follow me to my Auntie Margaret's house. I was really aware of energies from a very, very young age. But again, I didn't understand it. Yeah, I didn't understand it. And it's not that my parents shut me down. They just didn't know how to deal with that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I can understand.
Oh, you're being daft, you're not seeing anything, because sometimes I'd be really quite scared. I didn't know what was going on, sort of thing. So it shut me down a little bit and I stopped seeing the things. However, I had this huge interest in spirituality, ghosts. The amount of times we would sit around and tell ghost stories. I would tell the most spookiest ghost stories that they would all run out the room screaming, and I would make sure it was the most spookiest you could give them. To the
That's cool.
I thought it was good fun doing that with my friends, and I started reading up about books about palmistry. Love palmistry. And to this day I can still read palms, just a tad. I wouldn't say I'm an expert at reading palms, but I had a thing for palms. And rune stones, I loved rune stones. And I didn't understand where all this was coming from, why I had this huge interest in certain things at a very young age. And then I was be so fascinated with witches and how they worked, and I've always just had this awareness.
That's good, especially when it comes to an early age, because that's very much like myself, very early age. But it comes and it goes. Did you feel that happened with you as well, Kerry? It came and it went, then it would stay for a while, then you would think, oh, I've not seen something for a while, or it's weird. I thought this is weird.
Yeah, it's really it's a hard one to grasp, because when you're young, like, you're so conditioned by the outside world. The outside world makes you think that that's not okay, that you're crazy. Hours. Oh, it's my clock. That you're crazy, that you're not right in the head, like you've just lost the plot. And if you know what I mean.
What? Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So when I was younger, I always had this net circle of friends that were like-minded, even from a young age, that were into the same things that I was. And one in particular was Amanda, who's very precious to me.
Amanda's a lovely lass.
Sorry.
It's all right.
She's very precious to me, and she never thought I was weird on any level. Never. Anyway. Sorry, you're getting me teary. So as a grown-up, I would see certain things, etc. And again, the closed down. And it wasn't until I was in my early 20s. There was a special person in my life. His name was Alexander. And he was literally my best friend. And there was one day we were talking, etc., and I was out in this car with them, and I just got this horrible feeling. So yeah, I said to Alexander, you need to slow down. Don't know where it came from. I just got this feeling you need to slow down. And then about a month later, I got this horrible feeling. I was on the treadmill, because I was quite young, like kept fit at that time. And I was on the treadmill, and it was at 7 o'clock at night. I'll never forget it. And I stopped dead, and I was like, I need to contact Alexander. We called him Aki. I need to contact Alexander. Oh, I need to contact him. But my mind said, no, don't contact him. Don't contact him. And it wasn't until it was about 1 o'clock that morning I got a phone call. And it was a friend of mine's, basically said, Kerry, I'm sorry. And I was like, what do you mean you're sorry? He was like, I'm really, really sorry. And I just heard his name, and I went, it's Aki, isn't it? And he went, yeah, I'm really sorry, he's gone. And my whole world crumbled. I'd lost my best friend. Sorry.
No, you're all right.
So from that day forward, I would say it was like a spiritual awakening. I started sensing things and going with my intuition and seeing things. He would come to me, I would see him, and he would come to me, and I remember one specific thing. He came to me and said, my sister's pregnant. And I was like, okay. And he showed me she was having a baby girl and everything. And at this point in time, I didn't know if she was or not. I hadn't a clue. And it wasn't until a couple of months later I actually bumped into her one evening, and she was pregnant. And I was like, okay, what on earth? So I was like, all right, this is really weird. And then there's just certain things he would show me, and I'll tell you this story, and this story still amazes me to this day. He would always play with my car. Always play with my car. One day I had to drive my mum out to her work, and the car was a brand new car. There wasn't like, at that time I had like a brand new car. I was young, wasn't thinking wisely with my money. And I pulled over because the car just died. And the place that I pulled over was my place where me and Aki would go and talk about life and things in general. And I had to phone my dad and get my dad to come pick her up and run her into Aberdeen. And I was like, what on earth is wrong with my car? So I phoned RAC at the time to come and like save me, because this was a brand new car. I didn't know what was going on. And I tried and I tried. And I literally had to sit there for a good hour. And I just sat and spoke away and talked to him and everything. And then by the time the RAC appeared, The car turned on, no bother. I was like, what?
He was wanting that chat with you.
Leave it. I just sat there going, what on earth has just happened here? So then a couple of weeks later, I'm in the same car, and I was working for a nursing agency at the time, and my job was to pick up the carers' timesheets from nursing homes at the weekend. So I was going around all the nursing homes in Aberdeen picking up the timesheets and everything. And and I went into this nursing home, and I always leave my car in gear. Always in gear, because my dad always said it won't roll if you leave it in gear. So I left it in gear, right? So I goes into the nursing home, and the next thing I know, there's this man frantically banging on the door. And I just sat there going, my God, is he all right? And he's like, who owns the silver car in the car park? And I was like, looked out the window, and I went, oh, fuck, where's my car? He's like, the car's just rolled down the hill. It's missed a bus. It nearly ran an old lady over. And I stood there going, oh my God. Like, I was shaking. I bolted out of the nursing home, right? It managed to roll down a hill, up a verge, down a verge. I am not shitting you. I crossed a main road, and it parked itself next to a tree. I am not joking. It parked itself next to a tree, and all these people ran over, and they're like, you should have left your handbrake on. I was like, if you look in the car, you'll see it did. And they're like, there must be something wrong with that handbrake. But still to this day, I don't know how it rolled, because the car park, it wasn't even a hill. It was a flat car park.
I think your friend Alexander was driving it.
Well, yeah, beforehand, I said, don't you be doing anything funny, because I could sense him in the car, and he was always a prankster. In physical form, he was a prankster, right? So I was like, don't you do anything. And then the next thing I know, my car's rode down a hill, parked itself next to a tree. I got in over the car, and I was like, I don't believe what's just happened here. I was like, there must be a fault. And even then, I was like, there must have been a fault. There must have been a fault. And I got my dad to arrange like the car to be checked over and make sure that the handbrake wasn't faulty or anything. Came back absolutely fine. There was no faults at all. So explain that one.
I think I just did. I'm sure your friend Alexander was there with you. I'll just show her one.
Let's play a prank in physical form and in spiritual form. See,
well, you have to remember, spirit didn't change just with the guy.
They don't.
No, they didn't.
They don't change. And I honestly needed a change of underwear that day. I couldn't, like, for a huge hour, I sat there trying to figure this out. I was like, how on earth did that happen? Anyway, so drove away, etc. And I just kept getting this sense that he was around. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, am I going nuts? Is this because I'm like full of grief? And am I going absolutely crazy that because I missed my best friend, like what the heck is going on here? So I was working one day for the nursing agency, and there was a guy there that said to me, I've just had a reading. I was like, oh, have you? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, and it was really good, and you need to go see her. And I was like, who is it? And he's like, Gladys Sellar. You know. So I was like, oh, really? Do you have her number? Can you give me her number? So he's like, yeah, I'll give you. So he gave me your number, and I texted you, and you said, come along that. I think it was a Saturday.
That's right. It
was near Christmas. It was near Christmas. Because I remember it being quite cold and everything, and I was out in Aberdeen looking for Christmas presents before I came to see you. I remember going into a bookstore. That's right. Or did I go into the bookstore after? Anyway, it doesn't matter. And I was really interested in reading spiritual books, and I started reading Mia Dolan. Mia Dolan was a book I always read, right? To understand what was happening to me, why I wasn't crazy just to give me some sort of reassurance that I wasn't like that shit. So I went along to see Gladys, and she started reading me and everything. It was great fun, and I was like, I really like her energy, and I was really excited, and I was like, oh, like jumping on her. And I always remember she had hurt her foot at the time. There's something wrong with your foot, so you told me to sit in the living room and not go upstairs because you couldn't, because your foot was. Remember that?
It was my back.
Your back, right? Or back. And I remember saying, "Oh, you're reading a book," and I was like, I'm reading a book." And she's like, "Hold on a minute, I'm away to get the book." And I sat there going, if she pulls this book out that I'm reading, I'm gonna die on this floor. Surely, God, she can't pull out the book that I'm reading. She has no clue I'm reading this book. I will not believe it. And I kept, while she was going, this isn't happening. Is this happening? Is this really happening? And she went upstairs, and she came down. Was it upstairs? I can't remember. I think aye.
Because it took me a while.
A while to get upstairs. God love her. And she came down with this book, and she went, "There you go, that's the book you're reading." Well, my God, I fell off that chair because it was exactly the same book that I was reading, and I was just fascinated. I wanted to read more, and it was from that day forward. It was just, I don't know. I think I was never away from you. I was like, I was never away from Gladys's, and Gladys was the person that opened me up. She has done so much for me and my spiritual path. It's unbelievable. And I'll always, always have so much love and gratitude for her, because she has just been an absolute pinnacle of strength, a pillar of strength in my life. Because I wouldn't be on this spiritual path if it wasn't for Gladys. And I think through all the videos that you've watched that we've created, you'll notice that there's a pattern here. But everybody has gotten their wings through Gladys. So do you agree? Emotional.
Well, okay. I can't say no. Was it here before I say no? No. The thing is, that day when you walked in, when I opened the door, Kerry, I knew you had something special. I could see it in your aura. And I thought, yeah, this is going to be fun. And it was. Your energy was so high. And I heard the place. I was kind of gobsmacked. And I thought, she doesn't look after herself. She doesn't, I'm taking all that stuff in my mind. Her aura's all over the place. She doesn't protect herself. Oh my God, what she up to again? It always gets you. Keep her here as long as you can. Calm the energy down. And I thought, oh my God, yeah, I think you were with me for about 4 years that first day.
I was. It's a shame. I intruded on her Saturday afternoon.
My brother was out there, the girl didn't come in. We had me sit and talk to a strange young quine, and he must have thought, oh, she's at it again.
Oh God.
But then you kind of calmed down yourself, remember? You calmed down, and you were staying in Stonehaven at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of decided that, well, I wasn't doing development classes then.
No. I think I said to you, why don't you do classes?
Are you interested?
Yeah, because I would love to do classes. I want to learn more. I want to understand myself a bit better. And I don't know how to do that. And you have gone through it. You'd be able to show us. Because previously I had done a class with Joanne Ruakis, and it was the tarot class.
Right, you did
yeah, and I don't think I was ready for that at that time. Yes, I loved doing it, etc., but I don't think I was spiritually ready for it. Because you'll probably see once you start your spiritual path, guys, that sometimes something won't stick because it's not that right time. It's not the divine time for it. Is that right?
Oh, aye, definitely. Everything comes, and that's why I was finding, and you especially, you do it all the time, because lately, you've been doing it more lately, having a lot of fingers and pies.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have too many fingers and too many pies, you get yourself confused, and you don't actually care which way you want to go. And I think that was you in the beginning, and you've started doing that again, by the way. But I'll sort that out.
Yes, I know. I agree with you. No, because that's spookily enough. Because I sat down at the weekend and I sat all this through because I've been doing a lot of spiritual awareness, and again I've had quite a lot of spiritual awakenings this past wee while, and more so recently at the weekend past. And I sat down there and I was like, I need to slow down a bit.
You're always, that's one of the things, Kerry, you're always at 100 miles plus an hour. And everybody says, I go fast. I keep thinking to myself, no, I don't.
No. And yeah, I agree with you. And I do have to basically rein it in a little bit. Rein it in a little bit and do one thing at a time. And I think it's because I get myself so excited what I can do to help myself, but also help others.
But it's like at this moment in your spiritual journey, it's like you went back to the beginning again, because you are acting exactly the same you guys are them years ago, when your energy's all here and you don't know which way you're going, and you're back doing that again. And I've been watching this building up the last few weeks, and I even said to Wes, am I really seeing this again, or am I having one of my repeat moments? Okay. And he says, no, she's at it again. I thought, well, I've got to wait until she's ready. And I reckon this is why we had, you see, the universe, now you know this as well, Kerry, the universe will rearrange things to do things. Mm-hmm. You maybe want to do something at a certain time, but then the universe will come in, change everything over, move things about, and you're going to get to do what you want to do at the time. But then you find, but this was a better time anyway, so that's okay. And I feel this is what, because I had all these questions about you weeks ago, but I couldn't do them because we had Yaz on, we had Leslie on, and I'm thinking, well, that'll come, I can't wait, you know? And I reckon you've had to go, you're back to square one again. And why? Not totally back to square one. Do you get what I mean? It's just like you're repeating it again.
Yeah, I agree that we're repeating it again, and I think it's because I'm more spiritually awake. I can see the veil clearer, and I think I'm trying to find that path of where I'm meant to go and how I can help the whole collective. And by collective, I mean us all as a whole.
Right.
Because spirituality isn't just for yourself.
No. And that's why I do my classes, and that's why I do the Centre of Spiritual Light, and I do big group things, because you're passing things on.
Yeah, it's about...
If you keep it to yourself, you'd be very selfish.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And I agree, like, this is why we're trying to help you, because there is going to be people out there that are doing things for themselves because they're too scared to step out of their comfort zone and share their knowledge with others because they don't know how others are going to take it. But I think right now in this moment in time, everybody's becoming more consciously aware.
Yes.
And I think this is the time to start coming forward and talking about your spiritual awakenings.
That's right. It is. It's the time. And the thing is, and yes, this COVID, and we're not going to go doing the political side of this, but this year has, as I was said last year, 2020 is going to be a big year. It has been a big year. Yes, there's been big losses and everything. It's because you need the balance, right? But if people have taken notice of themselves and listened and looked at their own lives, like in a way you've been doing that as well.
Oh yeah.
To see where they want to go, then we'll all come out as one.
Yeah, we'll all come out as one. It's about raising vibration.
Yes.
And I could go more into all of this.
But that could be for another.
Yeah, that's for another time. Because I think to understand, it could cause a few problems if there's people that's not awake as yet.
Exactly. And that's why you've got to be very careful of who you're talking to. But up until that time, that then when I did the development class, the very first development class that you were on, there must have been about 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah, Yaz was in my class. I remember Yaz being in my class.
Yaz was in your class.
All the evenings round your fire, and we would read auras, and I would sit in, because I can read auras. I'm very good at sensing auras. I can pick up, more so now than I've ever been. I can sit and tune into your energy, and I can pick up things that aren't quite right with you. And one of my neighbours was just out, she was out in our garden one day, right? I love this. In our garden one day, and I just kept looking at her, and I'm like, oh my God, she's turning green. I couldn't understand. I was like, she's like turning green. And I was like, oh my God, our whole thingy. And then I was tuned in, and I was like, oh, it's her heart. It's something to do with her heart chakra. And I just picked up all these emotions and senses, and I didn't say anything to her because I didn't know how she would take that. If you know what I mean, I didn't know if she was in or if she was open-minded, or if she would look at me and go, Hen, you're batshit crazy. Like, what the heck? I was too scared to do that. And then a couple of weeks later, I was talking with her and that, and I kind of dropped the seed in about, like, oh, I'm a little bit spiritual and all that. Oh, really? I like that stuff. And I went, okay, right, we're in a good place. So it wasn't until I went out in the garden and I looked at her again, I went, she's turning orange this time. She started turning pure, her skin and everything was orange when I looked at her. And I was like, problems with your digestive system? And she went, uh-huh. And I was like, oh, I can feel it. And she looked at me and I went, because your aura's orange. And she was like, what? I was like, your aura's orange. And I can sense that there's something not quite right with your gut. Are you going? And I started speaking to her about it. She went, yes, I'm going. And yeah, I do have a lot of problems with it. And I was like, you're not drinking enough water. And she's like, but I do drink water. And I was like, but you're not drinking enough. And that's all I got. And she went away on her merry way. But there's certain things, like I've always had this fascination with Buddhism. Always. But now I understand why I've got this fascination with Buddhism. And I've always had this fascination. Now, people think I am crazy with UFOs, aliens, other forms of life. Yeah, you're going to sit there and you're going to laugh.
No, but you have been for a long time.
Oh, I have.
Oh,
and it's
this was coming up.
It's always been a subject that I have had this huge passion for it from a very young age. And from a very young age, I always looked up to the stars. Always looked up to the stars. And even to this day, I will sit and I will look at the stars for periods of time, not looking for anything. I just feel that I'm at home when I look at the stars. That's another story. But I've had certain signs, is the best way to describe. And there was an event that happened to me a few years ago that I ended up having photographic evidence of. And that was enough. And at the weekend just past there, I went, now I get it. Because I always wondered what these signs were. And I received a symbol in one of the signs. And I've drawn the symbol out. And I couldn't, after this event happened to me, I couldn't get this symbol out of my head. It was driving me nuts. And I kept seeing it, and I kept seeing it. And I just grabbed a napkin and a bit of pen. Well, a bit of pen, a pen. And I just drew out the symbol and I put it to the side and my head was fine. It was just that it needed to get out.
I know that's okay.
I don't know what the symbol means.
But Kerry, you'll have to remember, UFOs, and we better watch what we're doing because we didn't want to scare everybody out of their wits. But UFOs, they're in a different timeline to us, honey. So doesn't matter, Ken?
Yeah,
they're in a different timeline.
No, they're a different timeline, and I could go into this more, which I'm not gonna, okay?
But this is where I want to take you anyway, because I said that at the beginning of this, I'm going to give you a prediction. and I'm going to do it now because you're talking about where I'm going to be taking you anyway. Because Wiz and I have been talking over the last few weeks when I've been watching you with all these fingers in the pies and that again, and I'm going, oh, good grief, Ken. And I said, she's got, and he even said as well, she's got to start going down the line that she needs to be on. And I think you, Ken, you have to go down the UFO line. And that's where you're going to go. You're going to war with the UFOs, but you're going to go down that way.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I wish they could get their mothership and take me the hell off this planet because it does my head in. But anyway, that's another story. Like, it's just everything that's going on. I've become more awake to the whole scenario, and I'm not going to go into this too much because, again, you need to be at that certain level. And like you said, I don't want to be scaring anybody. That's certainly not my agenda here.
That's not what this channel's for.
No. And I am, funnily enough, I am working towards that way. I am going down that path. I'm not going to like be running off with any UFOs or anything. But I do follow a lot of Dr. Stephen Greer. I do listen to a lot of Security Team 10 was a guy, but unfortunately he was apparently a hoax, which was quite devastating because he did have good content. But quite a lot of the media has a lot of control on the way you think, your mind, etc. And that has been proven, guys. Just a heads up. There is a couple of films that I would suggest that you all watch. There is quite a couple of films I would suggest. One of them is called Thrive. I will leave the link. There's another one called Into the Shadows. I will leave the link. And I would recommend you all watch Contact of the Fifth Kind. That was from Dr. Stephen Greer, and it's a documentary, and that will also open your eyes a little bit further. And you may not think that I am as batshit crazy as you probably already think I am. So
I've never thought you batshit, because if that's the case, I am too.
But no, I do love my little alien UFO phenomena. I do love it. And even at a young age, huge fan of the X-Files. Huge. Anything to do with anything like that, huge. I just felt this huge pull to it. And I sit, like, I'm a girl, I don't sit and watch reality TV, anything like that. You'll probably catch me watching documentaries on Egyptians, UFOs, anything to do with the UFO theory. I'm a geek. I love stuff like that. Egypt, huge passion of mine as well. Anything like that. I try and find things in life that really fascinate you, like history, all that sort of thing fascinates me. I'm just not for reality TV. And even more so recently, I don't watch TV at all.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
No.
That's quite a good thing.
And there's reasons for that. I don't watch it at all. I normally just sit and watch things that will help me develop a little bit further to where I need to go. Because there's...
So your path has got to take you doing a really new, exciting way. And we'll be waiting and with holding breath to see how you get on.
Well, interestingly enough, okay, I'm sure I can talk about this. Joanne.
Yes.
Joanne Dunn, she now has her own YouTube channel. Okay. Pyramid Journey Through Extension. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
I'll leave the link because Joanne was on one of her videos. Really interesting interview with Joanne. It was fascinating. It was like, I love it. I find Joanne super fascinating. Like
she is. And again, she's come a long way as well in different paths.
Oh, yeah.
She has found where she needs to go.
Yeah.
What she needs to do.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like trying to find my footing still. Even how many years later?
But this is the thing, but it
it takes it. Some people can just find their niche like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Another
I
people
did.
to like find like I like sticking my finger, like Ma says, I like sticking my finger in pies, going, I don't like that pie, and I'll try this pie. No, I don't like that pie. Now I've stuck my fingers in the big UFO pie, and I'm like, I love this pie. Sorry.
But the thing is, we all do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like me. Like Ken, I've touched on regression. It's not my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it, but I think even Roger, my guide for that, even Ken's it. It's not my thing. But you see, Wes wanted me to experience things in the spiritual bit, right? You know? So I do. I will try things. But it doesn't mean I'm going to carry it on.
No.
And that's what you've been doing. But you are so close now, Kerry, to actually find where you are, what your niche is. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. So this thing, Joanne contacted Gladys, is that right? Mm-hmm. Back in March, and she heard about what happened with myself and the rabbits, which we spoke about last week. I won't go into that again. She heard about that, and she asked Gladys if she could like tune into my energy. She did, and she saw a couple of things, and she'd done some cleansing, and I don't need to go into detail. She'd done some cleansing, and that was amazing. I felt that. And I've experienced that cleansing. That's all I need to say. So she done all of that, and then it's just little signs. Now there's a guy that I know that she follows now, but I didn't know at the time. And I'd actually came across him before I even realised that Joanne followed him. And I sat and watched his videos one day on YouTube, and I was like, this guy is nuts, but I absolutely love his energy. But I forgot about him. And then again, with Joanne having her own YouTube channel, she had a playlist. And I went through her playlist and I went, there's that dude. I recognise that dude. So I went and checked him out again. I was like, oh, now I get it. This all makes sense now. I wasn't ready at that time.
No,
I wasn't ready at the time. And now it all makes sense. So Joanne has said to me that I should possibly do YouTube, okay, and do awakening stories. So it's about spiritual awakenings and awakening stories. So currently, right now, this is so weird you've asked me to talk about this today, because I'm currently, bit by bit and slowly, working on my own spiritual awakening story to introduce that channel, Awakening Stories.
Wow! Well, that's something I didn't know.
I'm slowly working on it. So I'm putting all my editing skills, everything that I know, into one video, because it's more imperative now than ever that people will understand they're not alone when they awake.
Yeah, I agree with that. I so agree with that, because there's a lot of people, can I get them coming to me and I'm thinking, oh, I can't, what's wrong with you? Because they didn't understand what's going on with them.
No.
And it's so sad. You know?
It's trying to find a mentor. We always need a mentor in my life. Well, in my life, in our life, my mentor, thankfully and luckily, has been Gladys, Ma. She's been my mentor, my spiritual mentor for so long now. If you know what I mean, you have, and you've been spiritual mentors for a lot of people. And look at Leslie Allen, look at Joanne, look at Yaz. They're all doing amazingly on their path. And you should honestly give yourself credit to how amazing you are, because this is your journey. This is your journey. This has been your path. Your path has been guiding everybody onto their path. And my God, you're doing it.
Well, but I know that's my path. Because that's what I said to you earlier on before we started. When I said this is, oh gosh, you know, my job is the classics. And it's funny because I was speaking to Joanne the other day there, and we were talking about this as well. She says, that's your job, is to take everybody by hand and walk them where they need to be. But I've always known that was my job.
You're still holding my hand. I'm just not letting go of your hand.
You will one day. You'll let it go and I'll take one of your daughters next.
What do you mean? Take their hand spiritually. Yeah, because my daughters. But anyway, we've gone off track. What happened?
Wow, which we always do.
Yeah, we always do. We've gone into UFOs and everything. But anyway, basically what happened from that moment forward, doing classes, etc., with Gladys, it fueled a huge ambition to wanting to learn more, and I started becoming this book of knowledge. And I'm the type of person that whenever I'm passionately into something, I retain it like that. And I started learning about healing, and I've done Reiki, and I've done, what's it called? I can't remember the Source Star. I've done Source Star. I've done mediumship with the Spiritualist Church in Aberdeen. I've done spiritual healing with the Spiritual Church in Aberdeen. I've done tarot card reading. I've done so much in a short space of time. And when my two girls came along, I shut down.
You did? But that's what happens. I did the same when my boys came along. I stopped doing everything. Because you have to concentrate on your children.
Yeah.
Because they're the future.
Yeah.
So everything seems, because I kind of got a fright when that happened, when I really wasn't hearing my mom or hearing anybody to boot me and that. And then, all of a sudden, I went to Specialist Church in Portobello and it clicked off again.
Yeah, it clicked off again. And I can say that another spiritual awakening happened. So literally I had my girls, and then 7 years later, I lost another best friend, Amanda. Sorry. And that's when I really opened my eyes. And that's when I really started getting my intuition, my belief, my trust in myself back. Because I lost her. And I was like, I can't lose another best friend. If you know what I mean. I'd already lost one. Now I've lost my biggest best friend out of them all, Amanda. She was like a soul sister. I call her my sister. Because she was.
She's a beautiful soul with a beautiful, beautiful spirit.
Big part of my life. Like, honestly, I was young, she was young. Like, it was nuts. And she actually started coming to me, and the very night she died, God is my witness. My partner Pete was in the room with me, and I was sitting in the bath, and I was like, I'm never going to hear her again. I'm never going to see her again. And I was having this mental breakdown because I was like, I just lost her. I literally watched her die. And all me and Pete heard at the time was, I'm here. And Pete looked at me, and I looked at Pete, and I went, did you hear that? And he went, I heard that. I went, oh my God. And it was her. She was letting us know that she was still with us. And this was hours after she passed. So then, from then forward, it was like the whole wacky thing. Things started happening again. I started getting signs. Things would start playing. And then there was one particular dream that I actually went on this little choo-choo train. And I went up through all these different dimensions, and I met with her. And it was so real. I was like, oh my God. And I went, you're alive, you're alive. She went, no. She's like, but I just want to let you know I'm okay. And I remember it clear as day. She was glowing, beautiful, glowing. And she was wearing a purple silk dress, her favourite colour. And they took me into this room to see her. And it was just, I woke up so emotional, but I knew I'd gone somewhere because my head was pounding. And then I started getting all my premonitions again, picking up. Now, they're not premonitions, you pick up on frequencies. And I was picking up on a frequency. So I've been picking up frequencies for a long time, even more so now than I've ever picked up on frequencies. So I've been picking up on frequencies in spiritual time, your YouTube channel. It's just been this little snowball, and it's just been doing this, and this to the point I'm now sitting here going, whoa, what a ride this has been.
But it's not stopped yet, Kerry.
No, it's not stopped yet. And I think all through my life, I've been the type of person that's never loved myself. And I've said this in a couple of I've never loved myself. I've always been the people pleaser. I've always been the person that's always put other people first before myself.
It's when you start putting yourself first, it's when you really do see yourself.
Yeah, and it's clicked. In order to help other people, I need to help myself first.
Exactly.
You can't help someone when your cup's empty.
No, you can't.
No, so now I'm beginning to fulfill my cup. I'm beginning to get back into myself because I lost myself a little bit. I have lost myself a little bit through many, many years and for many, many reasons because, well, you know, things happen in life. There's influences. There's so much propaganda, so much souls out there that like to break you down.
Oh, yes. But it's getting through that. And when you come through that, you're a better person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And you start waking up to things and you start appreciating like every...
It's because you've took what you call the veil. The veil's opening. And you're seeing clearly. And where you need to go. And what you need to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. More so now than ever. And the more that I wake, the more I'm like, why did I bother with that before? Why did I get myself so wound up about that before? And I've started making peace with things that's happened in my life. Like you've been with writing your book, you've been cutting your ties. I've been making peace and cutting my ties with things that no longer serve me.
That's right.
That's really important, guys. You need to cut ties with things that no longer serve you because your path will never move forward. And there is certain ways in doing that.
Yes.
There is certain...
Cutting the ties is another, that could be a big one we could talk about.
Yeah, I think that would really help people because, you know, we're talking about all these different things, but when it comes to awakening, what does somebody do when they've awoke? And by awoke, I mean, like, realize there's more than just their physical body.
Oh, and it is cutting the ties is a lot to do with it, to free so that you're waking fully.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to all the things that, you needed in the past, but do you need them in the future? Do you need them now?
No, like
you need that person now. Mm-hmm. You can sometimes when you just cut away from one person, can open the doors to many things.
Yeah. Your soul becomes free.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Cutting away ties. Your soul becomes free. Like, I'm not a people pleaser anymore. I still have days where I'm like, oh, and I'm sitting and go, now, Kerry, come on, think of yourself here. And it's not that I'm being selfish. I would never in any way be selfish to anyone because that's not my nature. My God, I won't even kill a fly. I just can't do it because to me they're part of the consciousness, they're part of the universe, they're part of us. Why would you kill them? Because they're part of our soul. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, it makes very sense. But then you've also think you've got 2 young daughters, and you've still got to be feet on the ground for them.
Oh yeah, definitely, very grounded.
And I've been telling you this for a few years now. They're your priority.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they all will be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's nice because in a way I can help them.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Because then you're passing it on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm not to a point that I'm like, oh my God, this, that, and the other. No, I wouldn't do that.
No.
But I'm there.
The thing is, you'll know. Now, you know, you're Maya. She's always asking me questions at her age. And I will answer them.
Always
in a way that she will understand. And if she doesn't, I think she's going to ask again. You know? I'm waiting for Esme to start, and then it'll be fine.
Oh my God. She's too full of sass, that one. I don't think she's going down that road. It's always a with the Esme.
So grow with that, don't worry. But it's like my three boys, the grandsons. You know, I'm watching them because one of the kids has got to walk in my footsteps. And it's just interesting watching the children react to what's going on just now, what their opinions are. And you get something, kids are more wiser than what you realise.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're not close to them.
That's true, yeah. And it's quite nice having that knowledge because it means that you can help them. Like when I was younger, just I wish in some way I had that little bit of guidance because I would have been more aware of things as a child and I would have been that.
I could say the same about myself, Kerry. But the thing is, you look back at that time and then you can say, okay, I could do this. I now understand why I was like that. And I can understand where I went. But now while you were guided, you had Alexander and you also had Amanda.
Mm.
And a way you was guided. You had them because they were your special. Especially Amanda because she was with you for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So she walked with you. You just didn't have somebody, I suppose, like myself at that time. You understand what I mean? So
Yeah.
again, but you wouldn't have looked upon it like that. You see, that's how I see it. Maybe you didn't see it like that, but that's how I see it. You know? And it's amazing because I could say the same with me. There are certain people in my life that stayed with me all my life. And it's walked beside me. You know? And you think, why have they done that? They've been there to just push you along.
Yeah.
You know? It's not always somebody comes with a spiritual awareness or a spiritual awakening, it'll take you along your path, you see.
No.
Huh? They're there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And them two's been very special. Look at your reaction when you were talking about them.
Oh, yeah. Like, my God. And recently I found a picture of Alexander, so I've put his picture next to Amanda's.
Oh, lovely.
So both their pictures are together now, and I said, you two, I know you can hear me. Behave, I'm watching. They probably was like, aye, right.
They're probably saying, no, we are watching you.
For what? I most likely are probably sit there going, oh, for the love of God, will she ever learn? But I'm learning. And I think, like, it's just, when you look back at your whole life, and you've done this with your book, and I've been doing this a lot recently, looking back at past relationships, school, friends, all that sort of stuff. All those, if you look at it really closely, take a step back and look at your whole life, you'll see that pattern.
You'll see a pattern. That is a very true thing.
You will see a pattern as to where you've always meant to go. So I do agree, because every one of my friends has had some sort of, or partners, has had some sort of interest in spirituality or UFOs, or there's always been something, and I've always taken something from each friendship or each partnership that has helped me develop.
That's right.
Personally and consciously. It's amazing when you actually wake up, you sit and go, wow, what a journey that's been. I mean, amazing.
And I agree, and that's what I've been saying since I finished doing this book. I'm looking back and I'm going, OMG, I've had some journey, and I can, it's no over yet.
No.
You know? And I've got at least another 40 years ahead of me.
God knows how long I've got, but and people that either I've done wrong to or they've done wrong to me, there's so much love there now. Whereas before, there was bitterness, there was hate, there was, I can't believe you did that to me. Does that make sense? And now that just woke up. It's like, I love you. I hope you're good.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope you remain well.
You've got this, you think when things like that happen, you've got to say to yourself, okay, that happened, but I wish you well. I send you with love and light, and I wish you well and whatever path you're on.
Yeah, exactly.
You send them away with love and light, and you've done the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they didn't accept it, that's up to them.
Yeah.
You can't make anybody accept anything, but you can send that. And I do that all the time. All the time.
Oh, too. And like I've been telling people upset you, let it go. Make peace with it. Let it go. Because if you don't let it go, that just festers your own energy. You've just got to make peace with things and let it go. And it's hard. It's hard because I am quite fiery. I do understand that. And I do get myself worked up in a tiddle. But more so recently, I've just went, I know I've done the right thing in my life. I know I've done the right choices in my life. Some haven't been the best of choices, let's admit it. But that was all for a learning curve. It was all to experience things. I had to make those mistakes in my life to develop on
That's right. You only learn through the mistakes, Kerry. But you can something. I've watched you all these years that you've come into my life. You know, and oh boy, you have made some bloomers. But you know, I'm laughing. But you've always turned it around. And that's the key.
Right.
And I think on that note, we should call it a day. What do you think?
Oh no! Do we have to?
Because there might be a part 2 coming up.
Oh?
Watch the space, folks.
Part 2. Now, see, I'm curious. I'm going to tune in and find out.
Whatever. Listen, I'm only following my guide. And you know how much I trust Wes and the gang. So I go, if he says, I think that's it.
Okay.
He says there could be a part 2 coming.
Oh, a part 2.
And you kept it Wes is like,
okay.
You know, I just say, okay, fine, whatever.
Respect the wizard, Merlin.
Call him that. He's not Merlin, he's Wes.
He's your wizard. But honestly, Diana Cooper, can I just say one thing? I seen a guide years and years ago. Remember I told you I had a unicorn?
That's right.
And the unicorn's name was Meticulous.
Oh, that's right. Remember that.
And sometimes I see unicorn, like see my unicorn guide.
Aye.
I go to the thing and I'll see my it's ace, it's magical, right? Well, do you know Diana Cooper has released a book about unicorns as guides? So I was like, no way! I'm not crazy! I'm not nuts! I've already met my unicorn! Guys, we've all got a unicorn. How magical is that?
I know, I love unicorns. I think they're so cool. And remember, you won one day. We were at the fair.
Yes, I know. I've always loved unicorns. And I reckon that if you've got a love for unicorns, there's a reason.
Oh, a big reason.
Mm-hmm. But Meticulous is mine. How appropriate.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Anyway, folks, we're going to take a draw to that. That'll keep you all wondering what we're going to say next. Okay? And that's the way to go. So, I'm going to call it a shot today. It's great fun. So, on behalf of wonderful Kerry and myself, we will see you next time. So remember, you've got to subscribe. Remember, and the thumbs up is a good thing. But best of all, ring that bell.
Ring the bell.